Thank you very much for making a date on the marketplace. Now, so as you may be aware, the men's gold controversy rages on, and shortly we'll be sending you live for updates from the East Legon branch of the gold dealership firm. But before we get there, let's start with this particular story. Some private sector players are advocating a national policy to streamline operations of small and medium-scale enterprises. Project coordinator of Smega Foundation, organizers of this year's SME Ghana Awards, Kwesi Fori Jr., tells Joy Business this would go a long way to support government's effort at mobilizing taxes from the informal sector.
The SME Ghana Awards, we had to struggle trying to even identify who the SME is. Then most of the businesses we are approaching told us they're not SME, but it took us 3 years to research into it. And then when we were telling them, they realized that, oh, even when I moved to this area, I'm a micro business. So what is our policy gathering packaging? What is our policy gathering market? What is our policy gathering export? What is our policy for startups, for those that need to scale up? How does the government regulations look at these entities? You get it. So I want to start a business. I'm running a business. And if I want an accountant to run my bookkeeping for me, it's quite expensive. So I'll dodge that and I don't pay my taxes. But if there are right frameworks, the government could engage the Institute of Chartered Institute of Accounting. Look, come on the table. Let's put this framework together. Do the books for these SMEs at this rate. Then it's a policy.
Now, government is reassuring the operations and management of the digital terrestrial transmission will be handed over to the Central Digital Transmission Company Limited, an independent firm created for the purpose. Minister for Information designate Kujopon Kroma says the decision is part of an initial agreement by stakeholders in the broadcasting industry. Meanwhile, government has also agreed to engage the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, GIBA, and all other stakeholders in the broadcasting industry on the process to end the migration from analog to digital transmission.
Stakeholders on the digital migration project held a meeting today, Thursday, 27th of September 2018. The meeting concluded with the following resolutions. Number one, that all parties will collaborate in joint public education campaigns on the DTT project moving forward. Number two, that the earlier decision, which was to have an independent company known as the Central Digital Transmission Company Limited, CDTC, operate and manage the infrastructure for DDT, remains unchanged. Number three, the parties have agreed to continue with engagements on the project as the project proceeds. The next meeting of these stakeholders is scheduled to take place within the next 4 weeks. The stakeholders at the meeting were the Ministry of Communication, the Ministry of Information, Ministry of Finance, the National Media Commission, the National Communication Authority, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, Film Producers Association of Ghana, the Ghana Academy of Film and Television Arts, the Ghana Actors Guild, NAFTI, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Ghana Institute of Engineering, KNET Limited, and ILC Consultants. We're grateful to stakeholders and to yourselves for being around for today's meeting.
This is the marketplace now to one of our top stories today, and some aggrieved customers of Men's Gold are demanding their initial investments from the gold dealership firm, saying they are not satisfied with explanations given so far by authorities of the firm. This is because the firm, which reopened for business today, is now saying it cannot honor all requests due to current tussle with regulators and the restriction on the business. The aggrieved customers who have thronged the East Legon and Jowulu branches of Men's Gold have rejected the responses coming from authorities of the company. Now, Ebenezer Sabuti, my colleague, is currently at East Legon branch of Men's Gold and joins me live for some updates. Ebenezer, good afternoon. This is the marketplace. What can you tell us now?
Hi, Abuaji. We are here at the Legon branch of Men's Gold, a gold dealership company. dealership company. And as I speak with you, customers of the company have besieged the premises here, trying to access their funds, some wanting to close their account, others also trying to just get their dividends and move away. We've been engaging some of the customers who think they have confidence in their company and they would still like to do business with their company. If you could recall, the company promised them that they should come here at 1 o'clock, at which the company will open its premise so that they could be able to transact business, they could be able to access their dividends and their principal. So some of them are here in their numbers trying to get to see whether they can be able to access their funds and their dividends. As you can see behind me, in fact, in their numbers, tens coming here, moving in each minute, and minute by minute, Abuaji.
I mean, if my memory serves me right, yesterday authorities of Men's Gold who held a press conference indicated that this is a schedule for the payment of the returns. What has become of that schedule?
So about a while ago, officials of the company, some officials of the company came out to address a section of them who claim, they are coming for their dividends, and assure them that yes, their funds are safe, their dividends are safe, their principal is also safe, and they will get their money. There are others who still maintain the confidence that the company is doing well, and at the end of the day, their dividends are going to be paid onto them. Others also don't believe in that. They think that their dividends are due. And since the Securities and Exchange Commission came out saying that the company should pay dividends, it is time they get their dividends. So we've been engaging some of them, others who doesn't want to go on record. But the information we are gathered is that the company will be able to pay its dividends to the people. But with the principal, they'll have to wait until the court case is due before they can be able to do that. So we have one of the customers here who I would like to engage him to see how he feels about the situation. And then, so welcome to Marketplace. Tell us your name and if you are a customer of Men's Gold, sir.
Okay, I'm Nane J. Sanis, but people call me Kweku Baba and Shushan. Yeah, I'm an actor myself too.
Do you invest with Men's Gold, and for how long have you been investing with the company?
Yes, I've invested with Men's Gold, and I've been investing for the past 2 years. Yeah, I did first 1 year, and then I roll over again for another 1 year. Yeah.
So if we want to do an analysis, approximately how much will you say you have invested here, or you have here, that if today they are giving you your money, you'll be taking home?
I don't want to go to that, but I've even introduced people, family members into it. And some few friends. So I can say that we have at least.
Are you taking your money today?
Yeah, as for me, my principal, the total amount itself is due, is matured, which is the principal. But they are saying I can't take it today because of the court issue. Yeah, they said they can't give it to us until they are done with the court issue.
What about your dividend?
Since it's matured, my time is due, I can't take the dividends. That is why I'm here today, to find out that if they will still be paying me the dividends since my total amount has matured.
And what have they been telling you, and how do you receive the news?
As for me, personally, I'm not too much scared about what is going on.
You seem to have confidence in the company.
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Because for the past 2 years, if it were to be a scam, for the past 2 years, we would have known about it. And I've not heard anyone complaining that he or she have been here and they didn't pay his or her dividends to her. And I've been taking my dividends every month, and this thing has been helping me. It has helped me in so many ways. As I said, as an actor, for some years now, we've not been shooting any production. There's no serious production going on. And this is what I take every month to sustain myself and my family.
But don't you think the company needs to be regulated?
Yes, fine. If there is something, the owners of the company down, especially Nana Apia, they have to sit him down and then talk to him. If there's anything for them to do, they have to sit him and then they do that. But with the customers here, we have nothing to do with that. Because the business is running. Government have to just look at it. If you can look here, everyone here is almost a youth. About 90% of the people here are youth. And
All right, so those were pictures from the East Legon branch of Men's Good. Obviously, some disgruntled customers expressing their reservations about how the authorities have been handling this whole situation. We're sorry for the abrupt end. But currently, we're crossing over to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where my colleague Prince Appiah is also standing by to give us some updates in the Ashanti region. Prince, what's the story in Kumasi? Hello, Prince.
Hello, Ivan.
All right, so what can you tell us about the situation in Kumasi?
Okay, what I can say is that if you visit a number of the offices in Kumasi, you realize that there are some few customers there to do business with the company. And what we are told, and some of them I spoke to, and they tell me that they've been given a schedule. Not everybody is coming to the company to take their money. Some are coming today, others are coming next week to do business with the bank and take their money and get their dividends and all that. So if you visit the number of the bank, there are people there, customers there, who are there to do business as was announced yesterday.
Now, is the situation quite chaotic, like Accra is happening in Accra and other places?
Unfortunately, as for Kumasi, it's not chaotic. It is, however, surprising that you realize a number of customers are there. Nobody is, shouting on top of their voice, or anybody is worried about whatever is happening. Most of them are there to do business and take their money, as was announced. No chaos scenes we've observed so far.
Has any of the customers, or have they been expressing some kind of disaffection with the current situation?
Yeah, of course. The majority of them that wouldn't speak on record, but what they tell me is that the state or the government is harassing, so to say, Men's Good, and that they should allow them to do their business so that they can also earn whatever they are earning from the company. Most of them are saying that they are making a lot of money, but due to what is currently happening, most of them are afraid and they fear about how they are going to get most of the money. Until yesterday, they were told that they should come and get the dividends or their monthly due, as they call it. So they are not so much happy with whatever is happening in the system now. But of course, they are there to do their business.
Many thanks, Prince Appiah. Prince Appiah has been reporting from the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where, on the contrary, the situation there is quite normal, with people being reported of conducting normal business with the gold buying firm. Away from that, the size of the country's economy expanded by almost 30% for last year. This was after the Ghana Statistical Service reviewed the base year and method for calculating economic growth figures. Acting government statistician Ban Wadie has been addressing journalists on the movements.
The provisional rebased 2017 GDP estimate, including oil, at current prices in purchase value is 256,671 million Ghana cedis. The estimate for 2017 current prices using the old series with the year 2006 as base year was 205,914 million Ghana cedis. And this gives an expansion of 24.6% in the GDP for the period 2017. The provisional 2017 GDP estimate, excluding oil at current prices in purchases value, is 248,226 million Ghana cedis. The estimate for 2017 current prices, the old series, was 195,200 million Ghana cedis. And this gives an expansion of 27.2% in GDP without oil for the period 2017. Now we want to look at the sectoral distribution of the GDP for the period 2017. For 2017, the share of agriculture is 21.2%. The share of the industry sector is 33.2%, and the share of services is 45.6%. Now, the provisionally based 2017 GDP at constant prices, oil inclusive, at 2030.
All right, so we'll be doing certainly some analysis on the new rebased figures in our subsequent bulletins. But for now, a report by credit and macro intelligence solutions firm Fetch Solutions indicates plans by Ivory Coast and Ghana to harmonize cocoa bean prices may not have the desired effects on the world market. This is because the differences between the two countries' marketing systems and minimal domestic processing are different. All right, the report says it would be difficult to achieve the target, citing wide differences in how the two countries export their beans. My colleague Norvan Aqua-Hayford has joined me here to help analyze the situation. Norvan, before we even go there, what do you think about the newly rebased figures and how does it impact our economy, especially our debt figures?
Aboji, what it basically means is that your economy is bigger. Your country now has been probably moved from the lower middle income to a middle income status. What it means is that now a lot of the aid that we've been enjoying as a country and those grants will move to other countries, and we ought to be able to raise more revenue to fund the infrastructure that we would want to, or the gap within infrastructure that we have.
Did you say we can now borrow more?
Oh yes, of course. With that, your economy has become bigger. Okay. So then you look at the debt stock, you can contain them. Right. You are allowed to be able to do these kind of things. And so the disadvantage bit is that all the aid that you've been enjoying, you can't have it again. And then all the free monies, if I'll put it, let me say, the monies you've been enjoying from these Danida and all those kind of agencies, this time will not come to us again, because you can be seen as a middle income country, or you have reached that status.
We are trying to pursue Ghana Beyond Aid agenda, so maybe it fits in there, because we want to win ourselves off, aid from the West.
You could say that as well. I mean, the fact that we would want to do that Ghana Beyond Aid, but are we raising enough revenues? The challenge that we've had in meeting the revenue targets.
Exactly.
Mid-year we saw the figures. I mean, it was short by some numbers. We are not really sure what will happen at the close of the year, even though the government thinks that they're on course and they will be able to, raise the kind of revenues that they need to fund infrastructure in this country.
All right, so let's turn our attention now to the cocoa industry. And like I said earlier, Ghana and Ivory Coast, sort of cocoa cartel that has been formed currently to actually harmonize prices on the world market. Fitch Solutions is saying it may not have the desired effect. What's your take on this?
That basically means that, as a country, we're going to also help even in stopping smuggling that across the borders in terms of cocoa beans. Ghana used to be the leading producer. At some point, we lost that to Cote d'Ivoire, and that is where they have been up to this point. Now, in Cote d'Ivoire, this is what happens, Abuaji. They buy, when they sort of do what we call the auctioning. That is what they do with regards to their cocoa. But then when you come to Ghana, we have Cocoa Board that becomes the central point and receives all the cocoa from the various buying companies, or companies that, or the agencies that we have.
So the market
more of
are
brokers.
different.
The markets are different.
Okay.
And the one key thing that the Fetch Solutions people raise has to the fact that we export these beans in their raw states, and the fact that we do not add value to it in terms of ensuring that you process them into other things
before you
export, you may not be able to have the kind of impact that you want to have on the world market.
The two countries, contribute over 60% of total world outputs. You think that we can still make a difference when we join hands to actually dictate the world prices?
Well, if you listen or you read what they had put out, Fitch Solutions had put out, they are part of the rating agency that is Fitch. All they are saying is you may have some impact, but you cannot have the kind of impact OPEC and those people have, because we're looking at why don't we come at the forefront and ensure that we would detect how much the beans should be sold on the international market per ton. That is what we are looking at as a country. But unfortunately, they've looked at all the scenarios, and they're telling you that, look, so long as if you want to have that pace, then you can buy your beans, put together, structures, and ensure that you all have the same marketing structure or strategies in terms of what you do, and be conscious and have it in mind that let's not just throw the raw beans on the international market. Now, let's begin to add value, even if they are in the semi-valued added value state. It's better.
Now, before they even decided to, to join hands, you don't think they considered all these, factors, and for which maybe they would have a plan to overcome or offset the challenge?
I must admit that I've had Cocoa Board in the last year talk about we adding value to the beans before we export, and they've been talking to a lot of these Olam and all the companies that please let's begin to do things. In fact, at the last meeting of Olam Ghana, their cocoa managers conference, Edu, who is the CEO for Cocoa Board, did indicate to them that they should think of setting up even a factory that they could even produce chocolates and other materials like the cocoa powders and all that. I'm sure there's a drink that people take, they call it cocoa, which is supposed to even help people lose weight and all that. So they are thinking of, let's begin to do these things. Let's have things that we can put on the market. How many of the golden tree do you see?
You don't even see them, and it's so expensive on the market.
On the market today. Meanwhile, at a point, this was one of the premium chocolates.
So finally, what is the
way
forward? I mean, for this cooperation.
I think that clearly they've stated and told you what you can do to get that value and begin to control the pricing the way you want it. So first of all, go to the international market, find out exactly what people are looking for. What is it? Is it chocolate? What is it? Is it whatever it is that they're looking for? Begin to produce or process your cocoa into that form.
Many thanks for your time. Norvan Akwa-Hayford is the Assistant Joy Business News Editor. We've been discussing the cocoa industry, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, joint cooperation efforts. My name is Emmanuel Apo-Ajiri. I think that's it for the marketplace. Have a good afternoon.